The biggest battle that we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will be interviewing individuals who have done that, who have gone through the struggles, who have tried to create a reality in all that they could. And when all the odds were against them, they made the impossible possible. I'm your host, Dr. Vic Manzo, and I want to thank you for being on the podcast and taking this journey with me as we go through and discover different avenues to break through those limits, different avenues to help you expand your reality so that you can evolve into the person that you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. On today's show, we are talking about breaking habits. Habits are things we are creating and breaking all the time. Yes, your habits, they're not something that stick around unless you keep reinforcing them. And they, if you don't reinforce them, eventually they wear off and you're creating another habit. I say humans are the best habit creators because we're always constantly creating new habits and things and constantly going with these habits. There are some that become rituals, and we'll talk about that in today's show as we talk about how you can change a habit, break a habit, create a new one, but then more importantly, how do you make it part of your life? How do you teach the brain how to reinforce that? And there's a ton of great research out there about this. But what I'm going to be talking about today is just simplicity of it. How do you do it on a neurological level, bringing the neuroscience to the table, and having you understand a little better about your brain so that when you start to create a habit, you understand the basic science behind it, and then you start to realize that, okay, I got to do this little at a time because this is what it's doing, this is what my brain's doing, and once it starts to grasp, take hold, then from there, I start a new habit. So let's get rocking. Before I do, just want to let you guys know my book is out. It came out April 30th. It's on Amazon, Lulu, Barnes & Noble. If you go to empoweryourreality.com and go click on the tab top right and it says Dr. Vic's book, click on there. We're offering a free shipping, but we're offering for a limited time 10% off the book, free shipping, and autographed by me. I highly recommend it. This book is phenomenal. It's the last 10 years of my life, adding in experiences through energy medicine, quantum physics, universal laws, and all these other knowledge and information I bring to the table. And I put it in a very simplistic way of how you can use this as a guide to create an inspired and fulfilled life. So definitely, if you haven't, check it out. Go to Empower Your Reality, get 10% off, get it signed by me. We have our supplies are coming in on May 6th. So after May 6th, 7th, we'll be going ahead and getting them all signed and then getting them shipped out to you guys, which should take about 2 to 3 business days. So that's my little commercial about the book. Now, let's get rocking and rolling as we talk about breaking habits. So, a lot of research that talks about it takes anywhere from 21 to 30 days to break a habit. I like to keep things simple, so we're going to say a month. Okay? Simple as that. It takes a month to create a habit. That's it. 1 month. Now, why a month? Well, let's understand how the brain works. Anytime you're trying to reprogram your brain to do something different or get used to something, you're trying to condition it. The first time you do it, I want you to think of it like a fishing line, all right? Let's say you're used to waking up at 8 in the morning. That's just what you're normally used to doing. Your body, your brain has been conditioned. You've been doing this for a very long time. But you've been reading books and you've been hearing about, you maybe listen to the podcast and you're like, you know what? I want to get up early. I think getting up early is really beneficial and I really want to take charge of my life with that. So you're like, I'm going to get up at 5 in the morning. When you first do that, how's your body going to feel? How's your brain going to feel? Is it going to be like, yeah, all right, let's get rocking, 5 in the morning? For some, it may for a couple days, and then it's not. For others, it's going to be like, what the heck, 5 in the morning? This is not right. I'm not used to this. You're going to be groggy. You're going to want to drink 5 cups of coffee. You're going to be like, this is just not me, okay? But when you first woke up at 5 in the morning, what you did was you took a fishing line and you threw it across a piece of the brain, and you're trying to create a new reality, a new path, right? So it's like a little communication line that you're just trying to hook on there. So eventually you can create enough of them so where it starts to, you can make a new connection that way. Okay, so when you look at that, if you can't, for the first time, you're trying to hook onto it. It may not stick. It's not going to stick for a while. But you do it the next day. Then you throw another line. Maybe that one tries to stick, holds on a little, then it doesn't stick. Because your body has been so conditioned to being up at 8 in the morning. That's what you taught yourself. In the neurology world, we call this synapses. And the other thing, another more scientific, is it's called neuroplasticity. You're trying to build memory of the brain to get used to a certain thing that you're trying to do. So when you look at neuroplasticity, you're trying to change your neurons to start your nervous system. You're trying to train the brain to say you like to get up at 5 in the morning now. You're going to program it to be something different. You're working different muscles you haven't worked before in the brain. And just FYI, there is no muscles in the brain, but it does act like one. So long story short, you do it for a week. You're like, all right, not too bad. I'm still not 100%, but I'm starting to get used to this. And you're starting to create more and more connections. You're trying to connect. You're just trying to make a connection on that other side to try to train yourself to get used to it. And like I said, guys, it takes about 3 weeks to a month. Research shows that's what it is. A different research. Some may say 21, 24 days, 25, 28. So let's go a month, okay? You start doing this for one whole month, all of a sudden it becomes easy. You have to do this every single day. You can't miss. That's the hard part. You can't miss. You have to be consistent. The law of consistency. It's a rule. Consistency is king, queen. It's the one thing that you do that is going to break anything in life. Consistency is everything. Nature's consistent. Everything is consistent in life. You look at the universe, there's consistent change. It's small, it's tiny, but it makes big things happen over time. And the same thing in your life. And if you're consistent with these things, it's going to help transform your life. And you can break any pattern and create a new one as simple as possible. Okay? So if you do this for 30 days, 30 simple days, you can transform your life and create a new habit. But you have to do it every single morning. Now, I'm just talking about waking up at 5 in the morning. But how about focusing on gratitude? How about meditation? How about breath work? How about telling your wife or husband how much you love them every single day? How about saying something nice to yourself every single morning? Or just doing your prayers at night, or a ritual in the morning or night. Listening to something inspirational every morning. Taking time to read a book every single day. Whatever it is, playing with your kids, taking a moment to play with your kids every single day. Whatever it is, you can do. This is the beautiful thing about it. You can apply this to anything. It's universal. Okay? It's universal. 30 days it takes to break a habit or create a new one. Okay? Once you get past the 30 days, now it's a lot easier. It's not part of your lifestyle yet. You haven't reinforced it to be 100% in. But what you have done is you made the brain go, there's something different here. We've been seeing this input for a little bit now. Maybe we should look into this a little bit more, right? And that's where the whole reinforcement process comes. As a chiropractor, my care plans run off the same thing. First month, 2 months, we have to break patterns down, right? We just got to break the pattern down. It takes a month just to break that habit. It takes another month to start having the brain see things in a little different way. And then from there, we start doing reinforcements. And that is the same concept here, guys. Once you break that first month, you do the first 30 days, and you start to get those habits that start shift and change. Now, all of a sudden, it becomes a little easier. Not saying you're all there yet, but it does become a little easier. So if you have a new workout program you're trying to get used to, 30 days. That's what you want to do to start to slowly make it become a habit. Now, after your 30 days, though, you've built up enough synapses, you've built up enough neuroplasticity, otherwise known as what I was trying to say earlier as connections, that you're starting to make it connect to the other side of this brain and going, okay, this is the life I want to be at. So you're starting to make some connections over there. After the 30 days, the work still continues, because after 30 days, research shows it takes a total of 60. Some people say 60. I like to say 90. I want to be as clear as I can be. 90 days total to make it a lifestyle, to make it a ritual, for something to stick with you. That all of a sudden it becomes almost in the subconscious mind. And now all of a sudden it's like when you don't do it, you're off. 90 days. Okay? Now, do you think you got to be consistent on that? If you've been listening to this podcast, you know that's going to be a yes. Do you have to make sure you don't miss a day at all whatsoever? Yep.
Is it okay if I went through the motions every once in a while, just because not because I'm trying to cut corners, just because I may not feel like I want to do it, like a workout? Sometimes I'll just go to the gym and go through the motions. But I'm doing something. I'm still, and the reason why I do that, and some people go, well, you're not being 100%, you're not putting it all in. Listen, when it comes to doing something, it's all about you got momentum moving forward. So just make sure you do the work. Run through the motions. You're still doing the work, even if it may not be 100%. Just do the work. That's what's important, because you're keeping momentum to move forward. But as you stay consistent, as you get to that 90th day, you've programmed it. Let's think about like imprinting it into your brain. It's a code that you've now done. That this is how your brain's going to think, operate, and work, and your body's going to follow suit. And when you do miss, if it happens, and like for example, like working out. Let's say you have to work out 5 days a week, and you've been doing it for 90 days, and 1 week you do 4. You're going to feel it. Or if you meditate every single day, and you did it for 90 days, then all of a sudden one day you had a miss, you're going to feel off that day. I know, because I've been meditating now for almost 300 days straight, plus other things. And the cool thing behind that is, if I don't do it in the morning, I feel it. I'm out of my A game. I'm not 100%. I'm letting little stupid things get in the way. I'm paying attention to stupid stuff, negative stuff. And I say stupid stuff, what I mean by that is negative stuff, just things that are just not worth my time putting energy into, and it's not benefiting me in the overall. It's not moving me towards my goals and my successes of what I want to achieve. So I call it stupid stuff. But I'm focusing on the negative things, and I'm not really focusing on the more positive or the more benefiting things to my life. But when I meditate, it keeps me focused on the vision. It keeps me focused on the goal. It keeps me focused on what I'm trying to create within my business and my life, my marriage, my family, and so much more. So when it comes to changing and transforming your life, guys, it's 90 days consistency. 90 days. And I'm not saying you still have to do the work. It's just a little easier. Now it's just reinforcing. You reinforced it. Now you just want to keep it there and keep reinforcing a little at a time so you don't create a different pattern. Because once you establish a habit, once you establish a ritual, remember, you're always creating rituals and you're breaking things down. You're creating new lifestyles and breaking old lifestyles. It's constantly change. So you have to focus on what are the ones you want, keep giving energy to it. Those are the ones you want to focus on. And it's when doing the feed. Because the ones you feed and constantly feed into is going to be stick around and be part of your reality. This is why I like success. This is why I like health, maximizing your health and all that. It's not easy. And I say to the people, it's not meant to be for everybody. Everybody has the power to achieve it, but it's not meant to be for everybody, because not everybody wants to do the work. Some people want the easy way out, which there isn't. There is no such thing as an easy way. Life is not easy. I say this is hell, even though it's a beautiful hell for me. But the point I'm trying to make is that life was never designed to be easy. It never has and never will. This is where you come to do the work. This is a university. This is the Earth University. It's a universal university. Souls come here to work and gain experiences and accelerate in their expansionness and to grow and expand. That's why you're here. So when you look at your life, then it's like, understand that this is consistent work you have to do constantly. You can never stop. The most successful people in the world focus on 1 or 2, 3 things. That's it. Most of them just do 1 or 2. But the thing is, you want to make sure that what are you doing that you want to create in your life, and just put the energy to it all the time. I'm telling you guys, and in my book, I hammer this out in full detail. But if you just take time and focus on what is it you really want to create, and just every day put a little energy to that, even if it's just a minute you spend on there, even if it's 5, 10, 15, doesn't matter. When you spend your time on something, you're spending your energy on something. When you spend your energy on something, eventually that's going to turn in, and you start attracting and manifesting what it is you want. And as the more you put energy into that, eventually it's going to turn into your reality. It's just the way it works. It's impossible not. Law of attraction states that like attracts like. So if you're putting energy into something and you're trying to really rev up that energy, get to that tone, that frequency, that vibration that attracts what it is you desire, if you keep feeding it, eventually it's going to happen. It eventually will. But it takes work. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to be consistent. And that's just one of the way things are. So like if you're interested in what I'm talking about here today, check out my book, because I dive deep into this stuff. Chapter 2, I have 30-something pages on just the law of focus and how all this works. And to help give you a guide and a system and a way to understand that, are you on the right path? And also, are you feeding the right energy? Because the universe also tells you when you are and when you're not. And how cool is that? You have a system that states and tells you if you're on the right path. Because it's always working for you. It's always showing what are you creating? What are you focusing on? What are you putting energy into? What are you putting your time into? Your body and your mind. The universe is always responding to what you put out. And so if you're not getting what you want, check out what you're putting out. It's not the universe. The universe is always working for you. It's like a genie. You're telling it what you want. When you came to this world, when you came to this earth, you created a co-creation. People call it with God, the universe, prime creator, whatever it may be. It's truly it's with your higher self, which is your godlike self. And so you co-created with this, with your higher self, or your true self, I like to say, and to create an experience to help you gain and grow overall as a soul, but through a human experience. Like Wayne Dyer said, we are spiritual beings having a human being experience. That's who you are, and that's what you're doing. So how do you go ahead and maximize that? Well, you have the power. I'm sharing something with you today, very powerful. If you take the time to just feed it. Know that it takes 30 days to change a habit. Know that it takes 90 days to make it a lifestyle, total. Okay? Once you make it your lifestyle, just keep feeding it little at a time. You've built momentum. You've done the work. You've made the connections. Now you just got to keep reinforcing them every once in a while. And as long as you keep those connections being reinforced once in a while, that's maximizing it. You're keeping it there. It's just like when I work with individuals in my chiropractic office. When people get to a state of wellness or maintenance, or I like to call, I call them wellness or maintenance. It's simple. But I used to one of the things is that when they're there, it's like a once a week visit, and what that is it's just to make sure they're staying optimal. It's just making sure we're reinforcing those connections and never letting them go backwards, never letting them breaking down, creating new habits or patterns that are less than optimal where they are. Simple as that. So take the time, write out what it is that you want to create in the next 30 days, and put all your energy in to make sure you do it every single day. Once you get to 30, it should be easier. You should have like a little rhythm. It shouldn't be so hard of a battle. You're still going to have those ups and downs, but at least you got some momentum. It's okay to go through the motions. Don't do it all the time. But if there's times where you're just like, or you may forget, do it as simple as you possibly can, but keep moving forward. And once you get to 90 days, that is when your transformation is going to come, and that's when you start making your reality, and that's when it starts to become an unconscious habit where all of a sudden it becomes part of you, and it's hard to break apart. So I hope this helps, and we'll check you guys on the next one.
Thank you for listening to the Mindful Experiment Podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you rediscover who you really are, to break through those limits. For connecting with us on social media, please check us out on Facebook at www.facebook.com/empoweryourreality. You can check us out on Twitter. Our handle is Dr. Vic21. And also check us out on Instagram. It's instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. And as always, if this show you found to be helpful for you, by paying it forward and sharing this podcast with someone that you know who could benefit from it. And last but not least, if you liked the podcast show, please give us a review, 5-star. We'd appreciate that. Thank you for listening to The Mindful Experiment, helping you discover your infinite potential.